Welcome to e-commerce. What's it all about? How are you going to do it? How are you going to have fun with it? How are you going to make money? These are the questions we're going to talk about today. I'm Tonya Hofmann. And yes, it's Tonya with an O and Hofmann with one F like Frank, two N's like Nancy. And I love giving people insights into how to make money. And not just how to make money, but how to make it really easy to make money. Who's in for that, right? Because I know for a lot of us, we get bogged down into details. And one of the things that I've noticed from being in business since I was 25 and helping others become business owners is you start to focus on too many details that usually make no difference. And I don't know if y'all have ever experienced that, where you're like, okay, I'm excited, I'm going to do this. And then you're like, one little thing goes, oh my gosh, and that little detail makes you stop. So what we're going to talk about today is how to have this amazing experience in a $4 trillion industry, right? This is a massive industry. I mean, you just saw Toys R Us just went under, right? All of the brick and mortar is going to click and order. We all know this is the reality of our future. And yes, there will still be some brick and mortars that we'll walk into and pick something up, but it's really moving away from a lot of that. It's changing. We really don't know what it's going to look like in the next 20 years. Even for myself, I never thought I would be a click and order type of person, but this Christmas, I literally bought everything online. And you've got to look at, why is this trend happening? Why has it been happening for so long? Well, if you look at when you've got to stop and go and get ready and go to someplace and shop, it takes forever. And then especially in the United States, and I'm sure probably lots of places around the world, we just don't have the time anymore to spend a half a day at the mall trying to find that one pair of pants that fits, right? So it's so much easier to do everything online. Now, what's really going to help us is the idea that not only has huge companies like Amazon, right, eBay, all of those kinds got people used to thinking and doing things online, but the consumer approach now is focused on that arena. But here's the kicker. Most people don't want to do business with Amazon anymore, but they still want the experience and they still want great prices. So we're going to be talking about all of that today, of how are you going to compete against the brick and mortar guys and Amazon, right? Because a lot of times we think that, well, why would someone come and shop at my store when they could go find it at someone else's store or on Amazon? So we're going to talk about the marketing, the marketability of your e-commerce store as well, because that's actually going to be the differentiating factor for your store. And let me preface it by saying there's always exceptions. There's always someone who's going to be able to put out that one product that everyone's like, oh, I want that product, and it just sells and flies off the shelves. Okay, so there's always going to be an exception. But we're going to talk about generality, because for most of us, we won't have that experience. So we got to figure out how to do something a little different. Now, why do I know anything about e-commerce, retail? I owned two retail stores in Houston, Texas when I was 25 with my incredible husband, Michael. And they were science and nature stores. Now, we were one of the very first stores out there that did science and nature, and then also started into the organic arena, all right? And people really had a hard time with it because they're like, why would I use shampoo that doesn't have chemicals in it? I mean, it was just a new thought process. But one of the things that I learned from having those retail stores, number one, all right, y'all ready? We're getting into it. Change. Nobody wants to go back to a store that looks exactly like when they were last at the store, right? Except for a grocery store. I mean, how many times have you gone, where did they move the peanut butter, right? But in I'm going to go find a new shirt, or I'm going to go find a new item for my house, they want a new experience. They want to see something new. So this is the first lesson in retail, is that you want to change up your products. Now, there's going to be some that those are your mainstay products that people come, they know they're going to find it there, they see it, they buy it, right? They tell all their friends about it, they go there, they buy it. But then while they're there, they want to catch their eye. So those are the new products. So you'll have your mainstay, and then you'll have your new products coming in. Ever so often, on a retail platform, you also have to freshen up the way your store looks. You know, even for my businesses, I own the Public Speakers Association, I have the Public Speakers Conference website, I've got my Pretty Price, I've got all of these different things going on, and I change up the websites and my headshots every 6 months to a year. Yeah, I know, right? You're like, oh, I just want to do something and it's done. That's not called business. I mean, look how often, you know, Coca-Cola has changed their look of their bottles, because people like something new and fresh. It makes them feel like you're on the cutting edge. And that's something that you want to kind of instill in people, is that you're going to find the best amazing products at the best prices for them. So a lot of it is just on the psychology. If everything looks the same every time they go, it's not going to be exciting enough. Now, the other thing is moving things around. So when we had our retail stores, people would walk in, and if the same products were in the same spots, then it just looks stale. So we were constantly moving things around the store. And what happens when you do that is an item that never would sell would suddenly sell like hotcakes, just because you moved it into a different position. Lesson number 2 is a huge one. This is the one why most small business owners don't make it in the brick and mortar stores like within a very short amount of time. Same thing with e-commerce, is when your store has an item that won't sell. So you've moved it around, you put it on the home page, it won't sell. It's time to get rid of that puppy. Now, if you've got products that you've bought, and we will talk about that in a minute, if you've got products that you've bought and you've got them in your garage, clear it out, right? Drop it down to what you paid for it. Then drop it down past what you paid for it, because it's a write-off, by the way, right? You keep that notes. Make sure you keep what you're selling things for, okay? Because if it goes underneath what you paid for, you know, that's an expense you can write off, okay? Now check with your CPA. I'm not a CPA, so, you know, check with your accountant. Now, this is the biggest thing, is if something isn't selling, clear it. If it's an item that you're just drop shipping and that item doesn't sell, clear it. And the hardest ones is when you actually bought the product and it doesn't sell. You're like, I need to get this. Someone's got to want it. Clear it, okay? Because you're going to be able to use that money to go buy other things that are going to sell. The other thing is understanding that what you like does not mean other people are going to like it. It's about finding the things that other people are going to buy. Or again, you're going to have a lot of products that you're going to love, and guess what? You're going to get to keep them. You don't really want that. So in retail, when I had my stores, my husband and I would have like these competitions every year of who would bring in things that people would want to buy. And I'd find this beautiful silhouette of something. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And he'd buy this little, fake, plastic rubber, type of roach or something that was like huge. I'm like, no one's gonna want to, oh my gosh, you were like flying off the shelves. I'm like, what? And then my beautiful thing would just sit there and I'd look at it every day and I'd end up taking that puppy home with me. So you've got to really look at what's hot in the markets, what's selling. And sometimes it's just kind of trial and error, Okay, so let's talk about different types of stores that you can have. Okay, we talked a little bit about drop shipments and then also about actually bringing in items and storing them and shipping them yourself. Okay, and there's strategies for everything. Now you got to look at yourself, how committed are you to this process? Because you might have an amazing product that's just flying off the shelves and you can bring that item in and then make even more profit because you bought it in bulk, okay? You also have to realize that there's a threshold of where it's saturated, where all the people that you market to, they've bought it and they're good, and then sales stop. That's also a moment of, oh my gosh, did I buy too much of it? And you never know where that level is really going to hit. I remember one year we bought these, little science kits, and it was about July when we would get our Christmas shipments in. And lady came in and I mean, those things flew off the shelves. I'm like, oh my gosh, we found the winner for this Christmas. And I stocked up. I bought like 100 of each one of those kits. Yep. The people who bought them had already bought them in July because we sold like 2 or 3 of them again. Okay. And so I had to clear them out and get rid of them. And I took a big loss on it. It's just part of business. We wish that every time that we, would bring in an item, you're like, I just think that this coffee cup is going to be the most amazing thing. And it just sits there. It's just, we have to try things. Okay. So let's get a little bit about how are you going to find the products? Is it smart for you to do it as a drop shipment? And maybe even a drop shipment with some products that you're going to sell right from yourself, right? When you're going to put them into your garage, because you can do it that way. There's also great opportunities for you to help out maybe people that you know that have products. So we're going to talk a little bit about all of that. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple examples of things that you can do. And then we'll explain why some are smart, what some of the challenges in that, things along those lines. And remember that if you have any questions, please email me. If you're on here live, I will stick around to the chat window, as long as I need to. All right, so let me share my screen and let's have fun. So here's my store. It's called myprettyprice.com, and you could go check it out. Now this is just a splash page to really get people interested and then send them over to what's called an I Buy Right store, okay? So in here, I've got lots of fun, amazing pictures, okay? And we're gonna talk about pictures and how to select them a little bit, okay? So someone could click on makeup, and then they could go over to my actual I Buy Right store. And what happens is the I Buy Right company that you could purchase through iPro Network, which I could help you with if you're interested in this, okay? It's all stocked for you. And you see Lancome, you see all of the different, there's Clinique in here, there's Bobbi Brown, there's the Kapow brow, right? We all use that. Lipsticks. So it's all the brands that people are used to. There's 30,000 products already done for you. Now this website actually is all done for you. You don't have to do anything. You just turn it on and you're marketing it. Yeah, I just said that right. So you literally have an opportunity to have all the products drop shipped. They handle all the customer service issues. You never have to handle if someone's got something that they didn't like, it didn't work, it was broken, what to do about it. They handle everything. All you're doing is marketing the website. And then people are going on here, they're like, oh my gosh, let me find out a little bit more about this. They handle all of the pricing, the discounts, the pictures, everything you need, right? It's all done for you. So if that's something that you're looking for, there's different ones, because you may be going, well, I'm not really a beauty person, right? There's also men's cologne, men's skincare, so you still may be going, yeah, I'm not really into perfume or men's products, or, so this may not really work for you. Now, I have a question for you. This is kind of and we're going to talk about marketing in just a minute. When you start looking at actual products, what's going to sell? And that's where I've been talking with my husband. We're creating 2 new stores. And this is the concept, is we get stuck in what we like. Unless you have a whole lot of people that are just like you, does it really matter? It does a little bit in the marketing. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about marketing and why that's an impact. But this is a great example of people will buy perfume. Are we any doubt that people still buy perfume? Is there any doubt that women buy makeup, and even some guys? Hair care products. Do you think people will want shampoos? And they will want the shampoo that they're used to using, right? Here's Redken. I know I bought Chi from here a lot. You got all the Crew, right? You got all of the ones that people are used to using all here. They're already buying stuff. Are you in a belief that people aren't going to buy this? And this is the hardest part, is having a store that maybe we're not personally attached to, but we know that it's going to sell. Here's another one that another lady did an I Buy Right store. It's called Samson's Club. It's a pet care. So they have pet care, they have beauty, and then they have organic products. So here's a pet care one. She, made these cute little pictures. And so when you go over to her I Buy Right store, it's all the pet products that people are used to buying, right? Cages and cat food and dog food. I buy all my dog food and cat food from her, my bird food for outdoors, right? And they're all broken down so that you don't even have to deal with it. It's all ready for you, okay? People could go, oh yeah, I've been looking for a new bird cage, right? And they just buy. Again, it's all done. All you have to do is promote it. So let's talk about a different type of store. It's ones that still drop ship for you. But then you're going in and you're trying to figure out, what products do I want to sell? Now this one's called AliExpress, A-L-I express.com. And you would go through, and it's a great way to decide, well, what would you want? Here's home and garden, here's babies and toys. So you just know Toys R Us just left. So maybe you're like, well, I'm going to take up that toy market. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, here's all kinds of things I can offer for kids. Okay. So you could have a kid shoe website. Do you think kids need shoes? You bet. And so this is a way for you to easily create a lot of, opportunity to decide, what do you want to offer people? Now, what do you do with AliExpress? You put it into a Shopify store. Okay. So you would need to launch a Shopify store. And with that, mute you, Mr. Solomon. And so with the Shopify store, you can actually create a store for you in 2 different ways, where people can drop ship for you, right? So you can actually, drop ship just like with the I Buy Right stores, but this one you're using AliExpress. Or you can create a Shopify store that actually has products that you buy. Now, one of the biggest platforms to buy products at really awesome wholesale pricing is Alibaba. Okay, Alibaba.com. So Alibaba's out of the Orient, I think it's in China. And you can find, again, anything you can imagine. You can even create, like, say you want to do a pen line, right? Writing pens. And you're going to have, fun little quotes on them. You can actually buy thousands of pens with different sayings on it and different beautiful colors. And, I was looking at ones with like crystals that are inside the base of it and all kinds of really amazing things. You can get lost for days. But there you would actually bring in the item, store it, and then ship it out yourself. Okay. So with these, you have to look at, okay, some of the costs that are associated with it. Now, if you're going to have a product that comes in, that's products that you're going to purchase, right? And you're buying it wholesale and you're retailing it. So here's a fancy word for you that's used in retail wholesale arenas. All right, you ready? It's called keystone. So, any industry, there's always words that you need to know. Keystoning is when you take an item and say it is $5 and you keystone it, that means that you're going to sell it for $10. It just means you're multiplying it by 2. Okay. Now there's some items that you're going to be able to multiply out even more, right? You may go, oh, here's this clone trooper, right? I could get it for $2.82. But I know I could probably sell that stormtrooper for $10. So there's always going to be items that you're going to be able to sell at a higher price than a keystone. If you look at retail, if you go to a brick and mortar store, most stores are actually keystoned. Now there's some like Kohl's. A lot of y'all know Kohl's retail stores. They actually more than keystone. So theirs is usually 4 times marked up, and that's why they're always on sale for half off. Because even at half off, they're still only giving you what normal retail is. Okay, just FYI, just to let you know. I used to be a wholesale sales rep for a long time as well, so I can tell you all kinds of things, tricks that people make. But you got to look at the overhead that these places have. It's so huge. If you look at really retail in general, grocery stores have a 1% profit margin. Yeah, you heard me right, 1%. I knew a guy who was able to squeeze 3% out of his grocery store, and he was like a rock star in the grocery store industry. If you look at most retail stores, they're usually profit margins between 5 and 10% because the overhead is so huge. So let's talk a little bit about, what is some of the expenses that you're going to have? Does that sound good? So if you do like one of these I Buy Right stores, it's a $2,000 setup. You get to learn all about it. It's all kind of ready and done for you. And then there's $105 a month to keep it active for them to have all the products, do the websites, host the websites. They're really doing everything. Customer service, the shipping, everything. They're taking care of it all. So to me, it was, a no-brainer to have the My Pretty Price store. In the Shopify, they've got pricing, and theirs is monthly as well. I don't know where this little line came through. So there's the Shopify stores is $29 and $79. Most of you will be able to do the $29 price point. You also have a credit card rate, okay? So the credit card rates are through Stripe. They're very reasonable at 2.5 to 2.9% per transaction, plus a 30-cent transaction, okay? Now you can also go and sell things, you know, just from like a booth, or, you know, maybe you're at a vendor show or something, and then they don't have any transaction fees when it's in person. So this is just the cost of doing business. There may be some extra cost when, of course, if you're going to bring in the products. Also, if the shipping, you know, you may be giving free shipping to your customers. But really what you're trying to do is to not, you know, say if you increase everything keystone, right? So everything goes from $5 to $10. You're really not looking at that $5 difference as all yours. Because I think this is the problem that most people have in general when they're looking at starting a business, is that they're stopped looking at it as a business, and they're trying to get all of the money that they think they should deserve. You're in a business. It costs money to be in business. But of course, all of that is a write-off too. Again, talk to your CPA. So when you start really looking at it, you've got to look at, you know, how much are you trying to pull out of it? And that's usually about 10 to 20% when you're looking at e-commerce. Some of the other costs you may have is not only the Shopify store, but there's plugins. It's kind of like the WordPress. You may want to have your own WordPress website that links over to it. You may have an an email system, right, to get their information so that you can start building a database and sending them out specials and, you know, sign up for my newsletter and reminding them that you've got something going on. You may have Facebook ads that you run to tell them about the new products that you're going to be selling to them, right? What's available, who's going to be interested in this. Is that cool? So it's not a lot of expenses, but there are some, and they're usually monthly. So let's talk a little bit about marketing, because yay, you can get a whole website up and going, you can get it all. You're like, yes, I've got my, you know, my I Buy Right store up and ready. But then you're like, how is people going to buy these things? Which is always what I get, right? People are like, so how do people know to buy my store? How do people know to go to that store on their phone or on the computer or on their tablet? How are they going to know? Well, you got to tell them. I know, it's like, yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about my favorite part is the marketing, because that's where I get really excited, because it's really fun for me. And that's really what you got to start thinking is marketing is fun. It is fun. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example of what I'm creating right now. So I love showing people what I'm doing, what I'm actually doing in the process of doing. So I'm creating a Shopify store. At the moment, most of the products are going to be drop shipped. There's a amazing mascara line. Do I have a sample of it? Oh, here it is. Here's one of the boxes. So here's a box. And this mascara is from a friend that I know in the Fort Worth area, Miss Kenya. And Kenya gives like 10% right from the top to help with keep away from human trafficking, right? Help stop that. And I love that. So for me, a lot of it is also about a cause I want to support. So that's something kind of a side note. If you need connections to Kenya, let me know. So she's already, we worked out an agreement where I'm going to get 20% of anything that's sold, and she's going to drop ship it from hers, right? Free shipping when someone buys it from her. Pretty cool, huh? Now, marketing. I decided, what do I want to sell? That's the first question. So you go onto Alibaba or you go onto AliExpress and you start looking around and you're like, well, what do I like talking about? Because I actually like marketing with me in mind, knowing that I'm a fit for a whole group of people. So that's the first thing, is you're not trying to attract everybody. With this kind of marketing approach I'm about to tell you about, it's about finding your niche, finding the group that fits you and your kind of mindset, what you love, is to find the people who love what you love. So let's take, for example, you love bugs. I know, coming from the nature stores, right? There is a young man who loves bugs. I mean, he would spend $100 on a new bug. So you can find someone and you're like, I love bugs. I'm going to go find the other people who love bugs, and I'm going to sell bug stuff. It could be, of course, the phone starts ringing. It could be that you love cars and you want to do car stuff, knowing that there's guys out there that love cars too, and women too. Maybe it's baby items. Maybe it's kitty cat stuff, right? Whatever. Just think of something that you just absolutely love. And you're going to create a club. You're going to create what's called a Facebook group. Now, you're going to have a fan page to help you sell the products from your, AliExpress or from Alibaba that you bought, your Shopify store or your I Buy Right store. So there's strategies on how to get people there to see what you're talking about and get some interactions. But what I love is creating a Facebook group. Okay. Now on mine, I decided to do one that has to do with outdoors. I love birds. But my sister loves deer, and they go deer hunting all the time with her family. It's about family interactions. So this is really dear to my heart, and I have a feeling that there's other women and men that would love to do things with their families. So I'm going to create a Facebook group called Outdoor Sisters. I already bought the URL, right? You go to namecheap.com, find a URL that fits your whole overall, because you want to just own it, no matter if you're using it as a WordPress website or whatever. You just kind of want to always own your word, whatever you name your store. That way, also, if it's not available, there may be some trademark issues. So I always just go that direction, okay? Then you start creating, well, what do you want to do with them? Because it's not just about selling products when you take this marketing approach. It's about getting people to love the activity and then showcasing your products. So I could create this group and have people take pictures of when they're out with their families and post it, right? And we're all sharing all of our experiences about families. And then when I do have a sale going on that really cute, outfit for outdoors, for you and your family, I can sell it without it being salesy. And because people love to connect with people and feel like they're really supporting someone, they love actually going and buying. And it becomes when people always talk about the mom and pop stores are going away and things like that. It's kind of sad. Well, this is the new mom and pop adventure, is creating a group page like that. There's also different marketing platforms you can do just through your social media, or ads that you can place on Facebook. So my friend Deborah, I showed her her cat just a minute ago on Samson's Club, right? So Samson is a Mancoon cat. It's massive. It's a huge kitty cat. And it's a therapy cat, so it's very docile and people love on him, and he's just amazing. So she's going to take pictures of Samson with a new kitty cat collar, or buy a new, bag of food. And so every time she takes a picture, she'll get interactions. And then she'll also send people, hey, you can buy this food. It's on a discount this week. Send them over directly to the page that has that particular pet food on it, right? You don't send anyone to the home page. So let's use an example, because I think this is an important point. And I want to make sure y'all grasp this. So say if, let's go with the kitty cats, since we're talking about kitty cats. So here's a kitty cat beds, right? Ooh, okay. So say she buys one of these products and she gets it in, okay? Maybe this, kitty shelf. And what she's going to do is she'll take a picture of Samson on this little cute little kitty cat shelf. And then with that, she will send them this URL right at the top. So she'll post it on Facebook and other places. Twitter would be great. Instagram would be awesome. Pinterest would be really awesome to do this on. So she takes the picture of Samson on the kitty cat seal, and she puts in there the exact link to this page so that she's directing them here. She doesn't send them to the main page, okay? If she sends them here, they're like, well, what? I have to find it? They won't stay because they'll get irritated. I mean, how many times have you done that? You're like, go to buy something because you're excited about it, and suddenly you're like, oh, where is it? I have to find it? You're out of there. You only got a couple seconds to get them interested. They were already interested. They went to your website. You blew it. So send them to the page that you're actually wanting them to buy the product. And then once they click on it, right, and they're like, oh yeah, I really want that bed, right? And they're like, I'm going to add it to my cart. Well, now they can go and they can continue shopping. Now, one of the interesting things when you start looking at any type of e-commerce is you got to think of your own habits when you buy e-commerce. You're usually spending at least $100 at a time. Now, there's strategies on how to get people to buy more. One of them is free shipping. You buy over $75, you get free shipping. Now, a lot of times you're like, yeah, but then I'm going to have to ship it and pay for the shipping. But who hasn't, because I know I have, all right, who hasn't gone, oh my gosh, I'm like $3 away from free shipping, and I just spent another $50 to get, you know, an $8 shipping for free. I mean, we do it all the time, right? And I'm like, oh, I get a free gift if I, you know, spend, you know, an extra $10, and then you get the gift and it's like a little sample of something. You're like, okay, yeah, I just did that. But we get excited. This is kind of the reality, is you want to get people excited so they spend more with you. Because then they build that excitement, they'll probably be back to buy more later because you already kind of have them hooked in, especially if you set them up on an email system so that they're getting reminders. I mean, haven't you gotten one from, you know, your favorite store and you're like, oh, they're having a spring sale today. And you're like, I gotta go, right? Let me go do it right now. So you look at what intrigues you from the stores you buy from online and use those same strategies for your own store. Does that make sense? So start looking at what people are spending millions of dollars on to do research to find out how do you get someone to click. So go on to some of your favorite stores right now. How are they getting you to click around? And how are they getting you to buy and buy more? Now in Shopify, there's all kinds of apps that you can, you know, have recommendations. Don't you love it when they say, oh, if you love this item, you'll love this too. So you could add that to it. There's countdown timers. You know, you have, you know, 30 minutes to make a decision and you'll get another 20% off or whatever, you know. So there's always ways to get people to buy today, buy right then. So start making a list. When you go and you get intrigued, something pops up in your email or pops up on social media, right? And you're like, and you go to click it. What made you go to click on it? Woo, right? And then once you clicked on it, what's your experience? So stop looking at everything as a consumer and start looking at it as a business perspective. What are they doing? How are they intriguing you to go, I need that and I need it now. And I want this too. Oh my gosh. And it comes in yellow. I want that as well. And you have to look at some psychology too. So when you go to people's home pages, go to Target, go to Chico's, go to, you know, these stores that you go to, Sephora, and see what makes them grab you. What makes them get you to sign up for their email list? These are important business strategies that they've spent millions on to figure those things out. And just copy it. Now, I would talk to you a little bit about the very beginning about images that you use. Okay. You've got to be very careful about using images that you do not buy. There are ones out there that are kind of free and free to use. But I have had a lot, and people are like, yeah, well, there's no, policemen out. Yes, there are. There are people that post a picture just to snag you, and I've had friends that got sued for $10,000 because they used an image they did not buy. So I just spend the extra money. Again, it's a business expense. My favorite website to go to is, I totally blanked on that. Isn't that terrible? Is iStock Photo. Yes, iStock Photo. Okay. I totally blinked on it. So I'll put it in here in photo.com. And yeah, it may seem a little pricey to you, but you're going to need the photos. And then it's photos you can reuse over and over and over again. And you want ones that have an emotional attachment in some ways. Like we just saw on the pet store one, they had that cute little Yorkie playing with the ball. I mean, what a brilliant picture, right? You want something that people go, oh, or I want that, right? Or that had that emotional attachment to that picture for this kind of experience. So don't just go, I'm just going to go to Google and search for a picture. You could, but I would not suggest it. But you could go and just kind of see what's out there and then go find something similar. I'm a big believer in paying it forward, right? So this is all to say that you can do this. None of this is rocket science. None of this is like super hard stuff. It's just a matter of doing it once and then going, oh, I get it, and doing it again. And a lot of it may be, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. Who's done that before, right? You're like, this sounds great. Oh, where do I start? Or, gosh, I really want that I Buy Right store. There's lots of opportunities out there. So we would love to help you, okay? And it's really very easy. How about if it's even a way for you, if it doesn't work, you get your money back? I know, right? Is that crazy? Because when does that happen in business? So if you wanted the I Buy Right store, or you want to learn all about the Shopify experience and how to use Facebook ads, how to drive traffic, how to use AliExpress, how to even, bring in your own items, all of that is explained through a company that I'm one of the affiliates with called iPro Network. Okay. And when you buy their package to learn about all this amazing things, and it starts at $2,000 at this, what you're gonna, I just showed you, you get not only all of that, you can do the I Buy Right store, or you can just learn about how to do your own store, but you get rebated in a cryptocurrency called Pro currency. Is what the currency is. So you get rebated in Pro rewards. So if you put in $2,000, you're going to get $2,000 back in Pro currency, in the Pro rewards. Okay. Now, say in 6 months, you're like, this doesn't really work for me. You could go and you just take the Pro currency and you can trade it and get your, US dollars back, or whatever currency you're in. That's sweet. I know it's kind of crazy. And, by then, actually, the cryptocurrency could actually go up in value. So you may actually even just make money on that. But if you really implement these tools, this is what I love about iPro Network, is everything that we do is about making you money. I'm like, it's about time, right? It's about time that people are there to help me make money, right? And have different fun ways to do it. And then if you find other people who want their own e-commerce store, they're like, I really like what you're doing. Can you teach me? You're like, I don't want to spend that time. Here, join too. And then you're going to get benefit from them joining. That sound good? So email me. And if you came through someone else as an affiliate, please contact them. But if you just came through Meetup or however I promoted it, oops, sorry, Kelly, I just did it straight to you. All right. So there's my my email address, Tonya@TonyaHofmann.com. Remember, Tonya with an O, Hofmann with one F for Frank, 2 N's, Nancy.com. Because again, my husband's family doesn't know how to spell Hofmann right. So just get that one right. You can also reach out to me anytime on Facebook. And if you're coming from the meetup groups, then yeah, you can just message me from there too as well. All right. So thank y'all for joining. I did record this, and you can rewatch this going, what did she say? Right?